Okay, so as you can see from the title up there, um, we'll be going into the Marvel Legends Psylocke. Now, well, she is from uh, Wave 15, one of the last waves done by Toy Biz. She is Elizabeth Betsy Braddock, and sister to Captain Britain Brian Braddock. And she first appears in Captain Britain number 8 as Elizabeth in 1976. And she's a supporting character in there. And actually, for a little bit, substitutes as Captain Britain for a little bit. Later on in the series, of course, this is all in Marvel UK only comics. And she makes her first true Marvel Universe appearance in New Mutants Annual number 2 in 1986. Now, of course, she's grown up in the same family as Brian. They were a pretty wealthy family who just recently has begun to lost some of their most of their fortune, leaving only their house, their mansion, and a few other things. But basically, having seen better days. So she becomes a pilot and then a model. And that's when her mutant's powers start to develop. They develop later on. She shows some precognitive abilities. That's, in other words, to see the future, as well as telepathic powers. Well, she is kidnapped by Mojo and brainwashed into starring in one of their Mojoverse shows, where basically they try and kill the main star, and the main star tries to stay alive, and is given the name then of Psylocke. And that's in that aforementioned annual number 2. So the New Mutants come and they save her. Well, so she then basically sticks around the X-Men as a supporting character there until issue number 224 of Uncanny X-Men, where she is forced to fight Sabretooth, and that's really when she becomes an X-Men. And she had shared some connection with Cypher for a little bit. They had kind of a thing going on, but that never went anywhere because he was so young, and subsequently was shot and killed soon afterwards. Now, she goes with X-Men to Dallas, and that's where they supposedly die. And what happens is they are saved by Roma, and she's given this device, mystical device called the Siege Perilous, which will allow them to leave their crappy lives and be reborn somewhere. So she holds on to this, and eventually what happens is that she gets a vision of these Reavers, cyborgs who are mutant hunters. She gets a flash of them killing all the X-Men. So what she does is she uses her telepathic powers to convince all the X-Men to go through the Siege Perilous. And they are scattered to the four corners of the world with no memory of who they are. And she then follows, and she wakes up on the coast of some Asian country, and is picked up by this ninja Quanin, and but because it's so traumatic going through the Siege Perilous, her telepathic powers seize onto Quanin's mind, and they sort of have this shared mind between the two bodies. And what it does is puts most of Betsy Braddock's mind into Quanin's body, which she is being an Asian ninja, is this is her that's her body. And there's Psylocke's original body, which is a Caucasian body. Most of Quanin's mind gets put into it, but they share some abilities, and some only have the abilities of the former mind in the body. It's hard to explain. I hope I did it justice. So anyway, you end up with Betsy, mostly Betsy, in the Asian body, calling herself Psylocke. And it's at that point that her powers kind of change, or because of the influence of Quanin, she now is very physical with her power and manifests her psychic telepathic power as what she calls psychic knives or psi blades. That's PSI, and uses them to get up and close to people and take them out, instead of trying to take over their, mess with their minds from a distance. So eventually Quanin comes to try and get her old body back, I guess. And it doesn't work because there's so much between the two that they can't separate them out, I guess. And eventually what happens is that Quanin, who now calls herself Revanche, contacts the legacy virus and dies. And when she dies, all the pieces that were Betsy Braddock flow back into this body, and she's completely Betsy Braddock in the Asian body.